The Florida Gators got another victory yesterday on the road in Ole Miss in Oxford, Mississippi by a score of 94-76. They are now 12-2 in conference play, 2 games above everybody, at least 2 games above everybody else in the conference. They will play Texas on a Tuesday game in Austin. I almost said Oxford again. In Austin, Texas, on the road to play the Longhorns, 7 o'clock on ESPN2 this upcoming Tuesday. Florida needs to win at least 2 more games to get a share of the SEC regular season title. If they win 3 more, they will get they will get the SEC championship for the regular season, that is, outright. So the final 4 games: Texas, Arkansas, Mississippi State, and Kentucky. Florida already beat Kentucky about a week ago on Valentine's Day in the Old Dome. I almost said the Swamp. The Old Dome in Gainesville. Then before they went on to beat South Carolina and Ole Miss. They will face Kentucky again at the end of the regular season on the 7th in Lexington. They will play, like I said, Texas on Tuesday, and in between they'll have Arkansas at 8:30 on ESPN. So that's a primetime matchup, a primetime Saturday matchup. And then the following Tuesday, after the Arkansas game, they will finish their home schedule on Senior Day, or at least I think it is Senior Day for the basketball players, maybe. And they will play their final home game of the season against Mississippi State. Mississippi State is the 5th worst, or at the very least 3rd in the SEC in terms of conference record. 5-9, that would be 5th, but if you're 5th worst, but if you're doing ties with 3-11 teams, that is Ole Miss, South Carolina, and Oklahoma, they would be 3rd. So the 5th worst or 3rd worst conference record in the SEC, depending on how you look at it. But either way, that should be a victory for Florida. So that should be one of the 2 or 3 victories that Florida gets here. And I expect Florida to win on the road in Texas because Florida is just a better team than Texas. They've shown that throughout the entire conference schedule. They're better than Texas. Texas is coming off of a loss to Georgia, 91-80. A little bit of a desperate team and a little bit of a trap game effect because of the Arkansas game that you will have this upcoming on the following Saturday. But considering Florida will be well rested for that game, going up, having Wednesday off, Thursday off, and Friday off, and then the Saturday game won't be all the way until 8:30, and you're having it at home. Florida should be well rested for that game. Arkansas, it's not going to be an easy matchup. John Calipari is one of the greatest college basketball coaches of all time. I'm sure he will have his players ready to go, but I think Florida can win that game. I think Florida could run the table here because Kentucky has gotten worse since they lost to Florida. Lost to Georgia, and then they lost to a worse Auburn team last night. So I think Florida could sweep Kentucky just like they've done it to South Carolina and Georgia. I think Florida could run the table here. Maybe lose to Arkansas, but I'm not even really confident in saying that they'll lose to Arkansas either. So I think Florida could finish. I think Florida's going to win the SEC outright. So here's an article written on Saturday Down South by Corey Nightingale. He describes the victory Florida had over Ole Miss. Florida blasts Ole Miss for the 7th straight victory. Florida took an 11-point halftime lead and never looked back Saturday afternoon in Oxford, rolling to a 94-75 victory over Ole Miss that strengthened its grip on the SEC standings. It was the 12th ranked Gators' 7th straight victory as they improved to a 12-2 in the SEC to go with a 21-6 overall record. Florida came into Saturday with a 2-game lead in the SEC over a trio of teams, and it made sure that cushion wouldn't be lessened with a dominant road performance that featured incredible shooting. Florida blazed away with 57% shooting from the field. Man, I cannot get my words together. And a 50% clip from the three-point territory. The Gators made 11 of their 22 attempts from long distance, with the Bookie Flan going 3 for 6 and Urban Klabzar knocking down 4 of 5 from three-point land. Klabzar gave Florida a big-time boost off the bench, scoring 15 points in 22 minutes. Flan finished with just 11 points, but he filled the stat sheet with 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals. The heavy lifting on Saturday was done by Alex Condon. By the way, he's come on very strong for the Gators these last 3 or 4 games. He's playing his best basketball of the season by far, who led the Gators with 24 points on 9 of 13 shooting. Condon added 4 rebounds and 6 assists. Thomas Hogg added 20 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 blocks. Thomas Hogg is a monster. Xavier Lee chipped in with 11 points and 10 assists as Florida steamrolled its way to yet another SEC victory. Oh, so good for Xavier Lee. He finally gets a double-double this year. Florida ambushed Ole Miss on the glass, rebounding them 39-24. It didn't even feel like the gap was that big, to be honest. The Gators also piled up 26 assists to just 12 for Ole Miss, which couldn't take advantage of Florida's 19 turnovers in the ugly home loss that dropped the Rebels to 11-16, and as I mentioned, 3-11 in the SEC. Malik Dia with 24 points and 6 rebounds, but he couldn't help the Rebels keep up with the Gators, who will go for 8 straight wins on Wednesday night at Texas. Oh, so it's going to, never mind. It's going to be on a Wednesday night that Florida plays Texas. Okay, today's the 22nd, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Oh, okay, yeah, so it's the 25th. So Florida should be well rested for that Texas game. Okay, never mind. Meanwhile, Ole Miss's losing streak to 9 on Saturday, with the Rebels having another chance to end their misery back home against LSU. Their game is on 9 p.m. on SEC Network, but I really don't care about Ole Miss. So now here's another article that he wrote, and that was Florida became the first power conference basketball team this century to pull off an impressive feat. The Florida Gators had a lot of things to be proud of. Saturday afternoon, dominant road performance against a struggling Ole Miss team. Stretched their win to 7 straight games. Strengthened their grip on the SEC standings, what they're getting late in the regular season, and continue to serve notice that they intend on making a deep NCAA tournament run in defense of their national title. You can't defend a title that can't be taken away from you. I hate it when people say that. That's all great, as are some of the numbers from Saturday's win in Oxford. Florida shot, okay, I've already gone over this. I'm not going to go over this again. He's talking about their numbers again. But amid all that Florida accomplished on Saturday, as it continues to surge, there was a particular feat that the Gators pulled off that was centered around winning on the road. According to a staff from CBS Sports, Florida is the only power conference team since 1996 through 97, that was when the Big 12 was formed, to win 4 consecutive conference road games by 19 points plus each. Okay, let's pull this up here. They did that to Ole Miss, destroyed Georgia by 20 points, beat Texas A&M by 19 points, and they beat South Carolina by damn near 50. So that's definitely going to fall in that category. Winning in March and April is all about winning away from the friendly confines of home. That's what Florida did last season on the way to a national championship game. He's right, because Florida beat Alabama and Auburn on the road, along with getting other big victories on the road as well. And that's what the Gators have been able to do recently, with a heavy dose of domination sprinkled on top. And it just so happens that Florida will stay on the road in its next SEC battle, heading to Austin to face Texas Wednesday night. Tip-off is at 7 o'clock on ESPN2, and as the Gators will try to keep their remarkable road dominance going. And that is a very impressive feat that the Gators have pulled off. And hopefully we're going to see them continue that pace on the road at Texas. And speaking of Florida and their race for the March Madness and going for the number 1 seed, the NCAA released their top 16 standings. And I'm not going to talk about it in this video because I don't want this video to be too stretched out. But what I am going to do is I'm going to stop recording here, and then I'm going to talk about those top 16 standings right after. So I'm going to end this recording now, and then we're going to get into the next video. Thank you for listening.